The locksmith's drill screamed through my front door at 2 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. I wasn't even there. My neighbor Rebecca's voice came through my phone. Panic, fury, disbelief. Kimberly, your parents are here, with some man drilling your lock. Your dad keeps saying it's their house. There are people watching, and then I heard him through her phone laughing. Performing for an audience. Family means what's yours is ours now. Everything in the conference room blurred except Rebecca's voice. That was the moment I realized my parents didn't see me as their daughter. They saw me as something they owned. Not a daughter. An investment. My client was still talking across the table. I couldn't hear a word. The house I'd hidden from them for 6 months. The house I'd bought with money they thought belonged to them. They'd found it. And now they were breaking in like they had every right. They thought breaking into my house would end this. It was the first move of their worst mistake. I'm Kimberly. I'm 32. I close deals most people never even see, commercial real estate, 8 figures at a time. And for 8 years, my parents treated my bank account like it belonged to them. Over $63,000 in family contributions that were never paid back. I bought my house with my own money, every dollar I earned from 16-hour days and deals that took months to close. They didn't know about it because I'd learned to hide my success from the people who should have celebrated it. Comment below where you're watching from, and if you've ever had to hide your success from your own family, you'll understand exactly why I did what I did next. I ended the meeting. My client looked at me and said, "Go. But don't let them take what you didn't offer." She had no idea how literally I was about to follow that advice. I called 911 from my car. My parents are breaking into my house. They hired a locksmith. I'm the sole owner. I didn't give permission. The dispatcher hesitated. Your parents? Yes. Send someone now. 40 minutes in 30. That's how fast I drove. My phone kept buzzing. Text after text from my mother. We just want to talk. You're being dramatic. We're family. The last one stopped me cold. The locks are changed. This is our house now. I ignored every single one. When I pulled up, my front door was wide open. The locksmith was packing his tools, looking uncomfortable. My father stood in my doorway like he was greeting guests at his own home, silver-haired, tan from their last cruise, wearing the expensive watch I'd paid for last Christmas. My mother was behind him, arms crossed, chin up, her perfectly styled blonde bob catching the afternoon light. And there was Danielle, my younger sister, standing off to the side, looking miserable. 3 neighbors were on their lawns, watching. 2 of them had their phones out. Perfect. I walked up to my father. Stopped 3 feet away. Didn't raise my voice. What are you doing? We're family, he said. Like that explained destroying my front door. You don't get to lock family out. We're staying here for a while. Your mother and I deserve a break. This is my house. His smile didn't reach his eyes. You bought it with money. We helped you earn. We sacrificed everything for you. This is the least you can do. I turned to the locksmith. Did they show you proof they own this property? He shifted his weight. They said they lived here. Showed me an ID with this address. They lied to you. They don't live here. I'm the sole owner. You just helped them commit breaking and entering. The color drained from his face. He grabbed his toolbox and left without another word. My father's expression hardened. You're embarrassing us in front of the neighbors? You broke into my house. We're your parents. That's when the police cruiser pulled up. One officer stepped out, mid-40s, looking like he'd seen every version of family dysfunction. He took in the destroyed lock, my parents standing in my doorway, the neighbors with phones, and said, "Someone want to explain this?" My father turned on the charm. "Officer, this is a misunderstanding. Our daughter bought a house and didn't tell us. We're just checking on the property. Family business." I pulled out my phone, showed the officer my mortgage documents, my deed, my insurance policy. I'm the sole owner. They hired a locksmith to break in. I didn't give permission. I want to press charges. My mother finally spoke. Charges? Kimberly, we're your parents. The officer cut her off. Ma'am. He looked at my father. Did you break into this property? My father stammered. We didn't break in, we just The lock is destroyed. That's forced entry. The officer turned to me. Do you want them removed from the premises? I didn't hesitate.
Yes.
Charge them both. Danielle made a small sound. My father's face went red. You'd actually do this? To your own parents? I looked at him. 8 years of guilt trips. 8 years of family means sacrifice. 8 years of my success being treated like their retirement plan. Get out of my house. The officer didn't wait for my father to argue. Sir, you need to leave.
Now. My father started to protest.
The officer put his hand on his radio. My father left. My mother followed, crying loud enough for the neighbors to hear. Danielle lingered, mouthed, "I'm sorry," and walked after them. Rebecca came over immediately. I filmed the whole thing, she said. From when they arrived. Just in case you need it. You filmed it. She nodded. The way your dad was talking, it felt wrong. I didn't trust him. I could have kissed her. That night, my phone exploded. Relatives I hadn't heard from in years. How could you? They just wanted to see your house. You're destroying this family. I blocked most of them. But Danielle's text was different. I'm so sorry. Dad told me you invited them. I didn't know. I feel sick. I believed her. She'd been their target before I was successful enough to become the primary one. Then my mother's text came through at 11 p.m. We gave you everything. You owe us this. That message sat on my screen. And suddenly I remembered something I'd been doing for months, without realizing how much it would matter. The next morning I went to my bank. Pulled 8 years of records. Every check I'd written to them. Every transfer. Every loan that was never repaid. I documented it all. $63,400. Then I made copies of something else. The recordings. 47 conversations I'd saved over the last 8 months. Every call where they demanded money. Where they told me my success was theirs. Where they threatened to cut me off from the family if I didn't contribute. I'd started recording after my father promised to pay me back $5,000 on a phone call, then denied saying it a week later. I never stopped after that. I had everything. I called a lawyer that afternoon. My hand shook as I dialed. What if this backfired? What if the family turned on me completely? What if I ended up alone, broke, with nothing but a lawsuit and burned bridges?
But then I thought about that drill.
The locksmith. My father's laugh. I made the call. I want to sue my parents, I said. For financial coercion. I have documentation. The lawyer, her name was Jennifer, listened. Asked questions. Finally said, you have a case. A strong one. But this will burn every bridge. They already lit the match, I said. This wasn't about punishment.
It was about stopping the theft.
She filed the paperwork within 3 days. My parents were served at their home on a Saturday morning. My father called me 30 minutes later, screaming so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. You're suing us? Your own parents. I kept my voice level. You broke into my house. Before that, you broke into my bank account for 8 years. Now you'll pay it all back. We'll fight this. We'll tell everyone what you're doing. I cut him off. Go ahead. I have 47 recordings. Every demand. Every threat. Every lie. Your voice. Your words. All of it. I'll see you in court. I hung up before he could respond. Here's what they didn't know. I'd also filed for a restraining order. The breaking and entering gave me grounds. The financial coercion gave me motive. The judge granted it 2 weeks later. My parents couldn't come within 500 feet of me, my home, or my workplace. My father violated it within 3 days. He showed up at my office. The building has key card access, but he tailgated behind someone coming back from lunch. Walked right past the receptionist while she was on a call, found my floor, and started banging on the conference room door during a client presentation. Security had to remove him. I called the police. They arrested him in the parking lot. That violation got him 30 days in jail. When the officer called to confirm he'd been booked, something inside me unclenched. For the first time in 8 years, I could breathe without calculating. Without wondering when the next demand would come. Without checking my bank account in fear. He couldn't touch me anymore. Neither of them could. My mother called me from the courthouse, hysterical. "You put your father in jail. What is wrong with you?" I stayed calm. He violated a restraining order. He just wanted to talk. He broke the law. I paused. "And I'm not done." She hung up, but not before saying, "You were always selfish, even as a child." I let her have the last word, because what I did next would say everything. Over the next 3 months, Discovery tore them apart. Discovery was brutal for them. I turned over bank statements, recordings, text messages, email threads where my father calculated exactly how much I owed them after every commission check. One recording made their lawyer go pale. My mother telling me if I didn't pay for their vacation, I was choosing money over family. The date stamp? 3 days after I'd paid for their kitchen renovation. Their lawyer, some guy who advertised on bus benches, filed motions that went nowhere. Then my mother showed up at my gym. Didn't say a word. Just stood in the parking lot, watching me through the window. I filmed her. Sent it to my lawyer. The judge extended the restraining order another 6 months. Then he found something. An old email I'd sent my mother 5 years ago. "I want to help you guys retire comfortably." Their lawyer submitted it as evidence that I'd promised ongoing financial support. My father's lawyer was filing a countersuit for $100,000 in promise support. For 3 days, I thought I might lose everything, including my house. Jennifer called it problematic but not fatal. The judge ruled it showed generosity, not obligation, but those 3 days taught me they could still hurt me. Then came the phone call I wasn't expecting. Their lawyer called Jennifer. "They want to settle."
No.
"They're offering to drop any counterclaims if you drop the suit." "What counterclaims?" I said. "They don't have a case." Silence on the other end. "They're prepared to offer $20,000, their lawyer said. I laughed. "I'm suing them for $63,400 plus legal fees. Tell them to try again." 6 weeks later, we went to mediation. My parents sat across from me in a beige conference room that smelled like stale coffee. My father wouldn't look at me. My mother's eyes were red and swollen. The mediator laid out the facts. "Ms. Kimberley has documentation showing $63,400 in payments made over 8 years. She has 47 recorded conversations demonstrating financial coercion. She's requesting full repayment plus legal fees totaling $71,000. My father finally looked up. "We don't have that kind of money." I didn't blink. "Then you'll make payments. We're on a fixed income. We can't." My father thought that would end it, that claiming poverty would make me back down. I reached for the folder I'd brought, slid it across the table. "This is your vacation spending. $18,000. Your kitchen renovation. $22,000. You had money. You just spent mine instead of yours." My mother started crying. Not the manipulative tears I'd seen my whole life. Real ones. Broken ones. "We're your parents," she whispered. "We gave you life." For a second, I was 7 years old again. My father's hands steady on my shoulders as he taught me to ride a bike, my mother humming as she braided my hair. "When did I become nothing but a bank account to them? And I've paid you back for it 3 times over," I said. The mediator proposed a settlement. $50,000 over 5 years. Monthly payments of $833.33. My father's face went white. If they missed one payment, the full amount would be due immediately, plus $8,000 in legal fees. My father looked at me. "You're really going to do this?" I held his gaze. "Sign it or see you in court." My father's hand shook as he signed his name. Then my mother. Both of them, making it official. I walked out of that conference room thinking it was over. For 3 weeks, I almost believed it. As we left, my mother stopped me in the hallway. "I hope you're happy. You've destroyed this family." I looked at her. Really looked at her.
No.
"I just stopped letting you destroy me." 3 weeks later, the first payment hit my account. $833.33 on the dot. I'd been checking every day, half expecting them to default, to force me back to court. The second payment was late. 5 days, then 7. My lawyer called. They're testing you, seeing if you'll let it slide. On day 9, it arrived with a note. Sorry for the delay. We're struggling. My mother's handwriting. I forwarded it to my lawyer with one word: document. Then my father sent me a letter. Not an email, not a text. An actual letter, handwritten, mailed to my office. 2 pages long. The first page was what I expected: blame, guilt-tripping, accusations. But the second page was different. He'd listed every time he'd asked me for money, every amount, every reason. And at the bottom, he'd written, I told myself we deserved it. I told myself you owed us. I was wrong. It wasn't an apology. Not really. But it was the closest thing to accountability I'd ever gotten from him. I didn't respond, but I kept the letter. Some part of me, the part that still remembered being his little girl, the one who used to think her father could do no wrong, wanted to believe he'd finally seen what he'd done. I hated that part of me for hoping. 2 months into their payment plan, Danielle called. Mom and Dad are selling the house. They can't afford the payments and the mortgage. They're downsizing. I felt nothing. No guilt. No satisfaction. Just nothing. Are you okay? I asked. Silence. Then, quietly, I don't know anymore. Being here, watching them struggle, everyone in the family keeps telling me I should convince you to drop the lawsuit. Like it's my job to fix what they broke. Dad told me last night that if I loved them, I'd get you to forgive the debt. I told them I wasn't choosing you over family. I was choosing myself over them. Then come here, I said. They sold it 3 months later. That's how they've been making payments from the equity. 6 months after the mediation, she did. I looked through the peephole and saw Danielle standing there with 2 suitcases and a backpack. Can I stay here for a while? She asked when I opened the door. Her eyes were red. I can't do it anymore. I can't live with them. Her voice cracked. Dad told me last night that if I loved them, I'd get you to forgive the debt. Mom said I was choosing you over family. I told them I was choosing myself. I stepped aside. Come in. She started crying the moment she crossed the threshold. Real, gasping sobs. I should have left with you that day. When the police came, I should have walked out then. You're here now, I said. That's what matters. She's been here for 4 months now. She got a job at a marketing firm, started therapy, stopped answering their calls. She was building something I recognized, a life that was actually hers. The extended family stopped talking to me after the lawsuit. Aunts and uncles who used to send birthday cards. Cousins I grew up with. They all believed my parents' version, that I was ungrateful, that I'd abandoned them over a little money. It hurt less than I expected. I'd been mourning them for years already. I spent last Thanksgiving with Rebecca and her family, Christmas with Danielle and 2 of her friends. Quieter than the big family gatherings I used to dread. But honest. Last week, she told me something I didn't know. They didn't just take money from you, she said. We were sitting in the kitchen, coffee going cold between us. They took my college fund. $40,000. Grandma left it for me before she died. They told me there was never any fund. That grandma had spent everything on medical bills. I found the statements a few months ago in Dad's office. Saw where the money went, same place as yours did. Vacations.
Cars.
Their kitchen. My hands went cold around my mug. They'd stolen from both of us. For years. And they'd looked us in the eyes and lied about it. They stole from both of us, I said. Now they'll pay both of us. My parents tried to fight it. Their lawyer quit. They couldn't afford another one. They represented themselves in court and got destroyed. The judge ruled in Danielle's favor within 20 minutes of deliberation. $40,000 plus interest. Another 5-year payment plan. They're paying both of us now. $1,500 a month, total, for the next 4.5 years. That night, alone in my bedroom, I finally broke. Not because I regretted what I'd done, but because I'd spent 8 years being strong, being the provider, being everything they demanded, and it was never enough. I sat on the floor of my closet and cried until my ribs ached. For the daughter I used to be. For the parents I thought I had. For every dollar I'd earned that they'd treated like it was theirs. Rebecca found me there an hour later. Didn't say a word. Just sat down next to me and held my hand until I could breathe again. 3 days ago, there was a knock at my door at 2 p.m. Same time as the locksmith. My heart stopped. I looked through the peephole. My parents. Both of them. Standing on my porch. My father holding an envelope. For a second, I considered not answering.
But then I thought, no.
This is my house. I open the door when I choose to. I opened it. Stood in the doorway.
Didn't invite them in.
What do you want? My father held out the envelope. His hand was shaking. It's the next 6 months of payments. In advance. We're moving to Arizona. Your aunt offered us her guest house. My mother wouldn't look at me. We wanted to say goodbye. In person. I took the envelope. Didn't open it. Is that all? My father's eyes filled with tears. I know I can't fix this.
What I did to you. To Danielle.
But I want you to know that you are wrong. I said. You wrote that in your letter. 6 months ago. I mean it, he said quietly. I really do. I looked at him. At the father who used to make me feel safe. Who'd turned me into an A-team. Who'd drilled through my door like he owned me. I believe you, I said. But it doesn't change anything. My mother finally looked up. Can we ever? No, I said. Not cruel. Just honest. This is goodbye. I watched them walk back to their car. My father's shoulders slumped. My mother crying silently. And I felt nothing. No guilt. No satisfaction. Just peace. I closed the door.
Locked it.
This time, I was the only one with the key. I'm sitting in my living room right now. Danielle's in the kitchen making coffee. Rebecca and her husband are coming over for dinner tonight. My house is quiet.
Warm. Mine.
The payments come in on the 1st of every month. Like clockwork. I don't spend them. I put them in a separate account. Maybe one day I'll use them for something meaningful. Or maybe I'll just let them sit there as a reminder. My parents wanted a daughter who'd fund their retirement. Who'd treat their demands like obligations. Who'd let them walk through any door they wanted, whether I'd opened it or not. Instead, they got a daughter who knew exactly how much she was worth, and exactly how much they'd taken. They'll be making payments until I'm 37 years old. Every single month, they'll remember that the house they tried to claim as theirs cost them everything they'd stolen. And Danielle? She's standing in the kitchen right now, laughing at something on her phone, completely free. That's the thing about people who see you as something they own. They never consider what happens when you stop being theirs.